Okay. Let's do this. I'm Chronix from the most extreme wrestling, and this is your AEW Dynamite review for February 10th, 2021. We're back in Jacksonville, Florida, and we got JR, Tony Schiavone, and Excalibur all on commentary here tonight. We're not going to waste any time because they're going to go straight to the ring. Joey Janela, he doesn't even get any music for his entrance, although he does get a partial entrance as the commentators go over last week's happenings. It was a big, important thing. Had Kinta appear. But tonight, here in the opening match, Joey Janela will be taking on Darby Allin for the TNT Championship. So, of course, Darby Allin, he's got to get some matches in. He's got to get some wins. So, hey, throw him in there with Joey Janela. Why not? These guys early on, they fill each other out. Darby turns it up with a top rope arm drag that looked so incredibly sweet. And Darby, unfortunately, got dropped on his face right there on the apron. It looked brutal. The bad boy, he gets down and dirty here in this match, which he pretty much has to because he's going against an opponent of the caliber of Darby Allin, hitting him with such heavy shots that Joey Janela even has some of the remnants of Darby Allin's face paint on his arms, on his fist. He was coming at him pretty hard as it was rubbing off on him, but perhaps maybe the level of talent wasn't rubbing off on him. Although Darby goes for a second rope coffin drop, center of the ring, hits the second rope, but Joey Janela quick enough to turn it into a German suplex, which looked pretty great. Even a pile driver on Darby Allin, but that only gets two. He's throwing everything he can, but not quite enough. Coffin drop from the top. Darby Allin wins this. Very commendable win. Very competitive match right here. Looked really great for Darby Allin there. What's up, Super Servants? I see you. I see you. And we're sounding good over here, so that's fantastic. Next up, the commentators talk about Kinta's debut, which happened last week. And tonight, Kinta will already be in action here in the main event. So that's big news. Jericho, MJF versus the Acclaimed. We'll also have Ryan Nemeth. Ryan Nemeth. He will wrestle again. I thought that was a one and done thing, but I guess he's signed. I don't know. That's going to happen. The women's title tournament begins here tonight. We're going to see some of that. John Moxley, of course, he's got to cut a promo. It's almost like they have the same, the same, what is it called? Like the same format every week, because I swear this man cuts a promo like basically after the first match. I'm going to start paying attention. Does he always cut a promo outside near a fence right after the first match? Hey, he's an important guy. We got to hear from him, of course. He says he will face off for the IWGP United States Championship against Kinta February 26th. But tonight, however, it's just going to be some fun. So he's going to have a little bit of fun in the main event. Yeah. Well, backstage, we got Sammy Guevara. He has a camera guy. He wants to be alone with MJF because he's got a few things to talk about. He's got a few things to work out with MJF, who is ever so creeping in and presumably coming to take control of the inner circle, or at least change the inner circle into what he thinks it should be. Perhaps getting rid of Sammy Guevara would give MJF a little more leeway, would give him a little more power, perhaps. We shall see. Well, the inner circle, they reluctantly leave Sammy Guevara and MJF alone together. And even Wardlow, he leaves as well. He's got this fancy jacket. It's got some fur. It's got some leather. Looks totally like something I would rock. I mean, I would buy that in a heartbeat. That looked pretty nice. MJF says, Sammy, I think that you just hate Jericho, and maybe Sammy, you're the one who wants to take over the group. So trying to get inside of the head of Sammy Guevara here and MJF. Yeah, does he really believe that? I seriously doubt it. But MJF, turns out he was recording the conversation. He had his phone out and he was like, yeah, now that I have this on record, now that I have this saved on my phone, I'm going to go ahead and use this against you. So, of course, he was being sneaky. He was using them tactics, those dirty tactics. But Sammy Guevara rips that phone out of his hand like a jealous girlfriend and throws it against the wall, breaks the phone. Oh my goodness. And then punches MJF so hard with so much power, with the power that only like a sex god could deliver, leaving MJF in excruciating pain, where he's on the ground and he's in pain. He's grabbing himself. He is in extreme pain. I've never seen such a punch, or at least not from Sammy Guevara. He did it, and it hurt, apparently. Well, I'm gonna be hurting a little bit now because it's Peter Avalon tagging with Cesar, but how do you say this? Benodi, man, I can't even pronounce it. But Cesar taking on Cody Rhodes and Lee Johnson. I almost forgot that Lee Johnson was a part of Cody's crew, but he is indeed. He was wearing a jacket, and I was like, oh yeah, he's in this crew as well. Well, and you have Arn Anderson coming to the ring as well because he is their manager. He has a little pad of notes, I suppose, and helps these guys out. He's kind of a strategist. Cody is looking incredibly buff. I mean, I know this guy was talking about putting on weight and becoming like just bigger and stronger and a heavyweight. But yeah, it's happening. It's happening right in front of our eyes. We got a lot of quick tags from both sides. We're told that Cody's shoulder is hurting, but that doesn't stop Cody from doing a gut buster to his opponent on his shoulders, which, yikes. I wouldn't have done that. But Lee Johnson surprisingly gets a very quick win there on Peter Avalon. Of course, Peter Avalon is the one to take the fall because it's Peter Avalon. So he does that. He gets pinned. And yeah, Lee Johnson, it's a big win for him. Tony Schiavone interviews Lee on his first big win here in AEW. Well, I suppose his first win ever. And Lee says that he wishes he had words, but he has been 0-20. I think it was 0-20 and or 0-21, and this makes it 1-21. So it's kind of like the reverse Undertaker streak. Did they do that on purpose? Well, it's AEW, so most definitely they did. Next up, we have the Young Bucks. They are the AEW Tag Team Champions. They are being interviewed about not winning last week's Tag Team Battle Royal. And, of course, the Good Brothers show up to overshadow the Bucks once again on promos. The Bucks wanted to face the Good Brothers. They let them know that because, remember, if the Bucks would have won, they could have chose their opponent at Revolution. They would have chosen the Good Brothers. They've made this publicly known. But the Bucks say, you know what? Hey, next week, we're going to take on Santana and Ortiz for the title, which I'm looking forward to. I'm sure a lot of people are looking forward to, but perhaps they were kind of coaxed into that. Were they going to say that during their interview with Dasha just on their own? Just like, oh, I'm going to challenge these guys? Perhaps not. Probably more to do with the fact that they want to show off and be like, yeah, we're going to beat a really important team here in the Inner Circle. So that's going to be happening next week. But right now, another Dasha interview. It's Adam Page and asking about the whole Hardy tag team. Is he going to be a part of it? Is he going to join them? And of course, Matt, Big Money Matt, he shows up as quick as he possibly can. The man is smelling money. And he comes up to Matt and is like, hey, you know, we could hang out. We could chill. You know, let's go get some free drinks. I know you really like drinks. You like to do that, hang out. We can connect. And Page, he's like, yeah, okay. See, he's still reluctant. He keeps finding himself in situations where he doesn't really want to join a group. He doesn't really want to hang out with the Dark Order, but he almost feels guilty, perhaps. He doesn't want to say no. He doesn't want to reject them. So he just goes with it. I'm sure that we all find ourselves in situations like that. But he agrees. And on his way out, of course, he bumps into the Dark Order to have another awkward moment where the Dark Order is like, "Oh yeah, so you're gonna be hanging out. You're gonna be hanging out with Matt Hardy. That's cool. That's cool. You know, you guys can hang out. I'm sure you'll have a lot of fun." So yeah, Adam Page, he just cannot help himself but to find himself in said awkward situations. Now, back to matches. We got Pac with Ray Phoenix taking on Ryan Nemeth. They say that he's Hollywood, but he's not very Hollywood when you don't get an entrance. I mean, Ryan tried, but his whole Hollywood production, it was quite bust. Pac, he's just stomping this boy Ryan like a barrel full of rotten tomatoes. Black Arrow into the Brutalizer. I mean, he could have just pinned him after the Black Arrow, but he didn't stop there. Why would he stop? If you look at his nickname, you would understand why. He gets the Brutalizer on and Pac wins. Pac wins. Whatever. Pac wins. No, it's Pac, right? It is Pac. I always screw that up. It's Pac. Pac. P-A-C. Pac. Okay. Yes. He hits a Brutalizer. Makes this man tap. Brutal. So, Ryan, dude, you are like Peter Avalon, just going to get beat and beat and beat. I guess that is his purpose. That is why he's there, and that's what's happening. We get a wedding recap. Last week, we had the wedding. They had been building it up. They'd been talking about it, and finally it happened, and they had to remind us of it. They had Miro in a pre-recorded segment, also Orange Cassidy and Chuck Taylor. They were pre-recorded video to add to it, little slices of orange, perhaps. And they talk about that segment and how angry that Miro is, and he wants to face these guys and fight these guys and blah, blah, blah. Orange and Chucky, they celebrate with some drinks. They're just like, yeah, we did it. And they have some drinks, just like that. Just in case you needed some visual aid, that's what happened. Now Chris Jericho, he's being interviewed. He has his fancy skull jacket on. It looked pretty awesome. He's got Jake and Wardlow with him. And then MJF appears with Proud and Powerful. So two halves of the inner circle coming together to make a perfect circle, a full circle, an actual circle. Well, a circle. A circle. It goes like this. And they're all together. MJF has taped ribs, and Jericho he's like, I didn't know about the punch. I don't know, but we got to have this match. We'll figure that out later. So MJF and Jericho versus the Acclaimed. Of course, the Acclaimed come to the ring, hitting their rhymes, dropping their bars. This is what they do. MJF is taped up, but he continues with the match anyways, even getting an unfair leverage advantage from Jericho in the corner, and Edwards breaks it up. Jericho, he does get a assist from Jake Hager. He hits the Judas effect and gets the win. Sammy appears. Jericho, he wants answers. He's upset. He's like, why was Sammy not already here? Why did it take you so long to get here? But Sammy, he's got a microphone of his own. He says on December 9th, 2020, that was a Dynamite that I reviewed. I'm sure of it because I've done them all. That if anything else happened, he said, on this night, then he would be done. And Sammy says he is indeed done because things have happened. And MJF is secretly happy about it. He's in the corner like trying to hide his glee and happiness, but he doesn't do very well, at least for the camera. Sammy Guevara, on the other hand, he's kind of locked in the eyes of Jericho as they're having this confrontation. And as Sammy Guevara leaves Santana and Ortiz, they try to slow him down, but Sammy is out. Like when he said he was done, when he said he was out, he really meant it. And a quick the lightning quick Alex Marvez tries to catch a word with Sammy. As you remember, when Kenny Omega was trying to run out of there with the championship, Alex Marvez was just bam right there in the back, ready to go. Well, once again, he was there, but doesn't really get much of a word from Sammy because he's out. We see Matt Hardy and Adam Page. They're at a bar. Of course they are. That's where they said they were going to go. There's no Dark Order, but Matt pretends to drink. He's spilling his drink on the ground. That's like the old, I know Jericho had said that on an interview. You know, you're drinking with everybody, and you know everybody's trying to outdo each other, and you know you just gotta kayfabe the drink. So yeah, throw it in or pour it in a plant or whatever. I'm sure that the bar hates it, but I'm positive that people do that. He does it. He pretends to drink because all he really wants, all big money Matt Hardy wants. What do you think he wants? He wants money. So he's trying to kind of force Adam Page to sign this, which after several drinks, it looks like Adam Page has had. He does sign it. I don't think that he read it. And a very sauced looking Adam Page, he signs the contract, which means that Matt Hardy is going to get 30% of the earnings of Adam Page, probably through his entire career. That is not good, but very smart, because if you could do that, what, 3 or 4 times, you could get 100% of you could get 100% of somebody's actual pay, like assuming they were all the same pay, and then you got 100% of it, and then you wouldn't have to work anymore, right? That's a pretty good deal. So maybe Matt Hardy will be doing this quite a bit. I mean, his name is Big Money Matt Hardy. He leaves quickly because that's all he cared about anyways. And Adam Page has another drink because why not? Tony Schiavone interviews Sting about his upcoming tag team match, not tonight, but in the future. But Taz and Will Hobbs interrupt promptly. I mean, immediately. They're in the back of an SUV. Why are they in the back of an SUV was the first thing that came to my mind, but we were quick to find out because Darby, he's in a body bag behind the SUV, and because at the hands of Ricky Starks and Brian Cage, who have beat him up and put him in this. They have it tied to the back of the van, and they drive off. So once again, Darby Allin finding himself in a body bag, not good for him. It causes him much pain, frustration, sadness. He's been brutalized so many times at the hands of a body bag. You never, ever, dead or alive, want to find yourself in a body bag. It's probably not a good idea. I mean, probably not very many good things come out of being in a body bag is what I'm trying to say. But they drag him off. Sting can't believe his eyes. He starts going up the stage, and he wants to stop this, but hey, they've already driven off in the SUV, so sorry. Alex Marvez interview, and there's so many interviews, but you know what? They're not too long. They're not bad. They're pretty all right. They're good. I really can't complain about any of them. They got to the point, and they continued the storylines in a pretty good way, I believe. He's interviewing Kenny Omega, who is at a golf course. Kenny, he's clearing his mind. He's trying to get himself prepared. He's relaxing. He's going to win his match. Hey, he's going to win at everything, even at golfing. As we see in the background, Don Callis and some unnamed other person takes the ball that Kenny Omega had already swung at with his golf club and, you know, kind of coaxes it into the hole so they can, well, actually go in, because when Kenny swung, it did not go into the hole. And yeah, we get to see Don Callis, and we'll actually be seeing him doing commentary in the main event. So that is a plus. Anytime I see him on the screen, he's great. He's fantastic. This is a pretty good segment. And they even make Alex Marvez go home on his own. Here in the first place was my question, but I don't know. Pretty strange, if you ask me. So, as we move on, it is the Women's Eliminator Tournament. It is legit Layla Hurst versus Thunder Rosa. and we get a little pre-recorded promo during the entrance of Thunder Rosa, and she's talking at a miles a minute, um, going off on everyone, who she's going to beat, and even brings up, well, her main rival, Britt Baker, which she says she has a big nose, which I'm sure that she would love to break. This match was very competitive for both women. Thunder Rosa almost gets caught in an armbar in this match, but which would not be good going against somebody like legit Layla Hirsch. I mean, seriously. But yeah, Hirsch eats a knee, couple of knees, two knees is what a couple would be in this instance, from a moonsault. But Thunder drops Hirsch for the victory, and Thunder Rosa, she advances. She wins this match, but she is feeling the pain. She is in what appears to be a tremendous amount of pain right here. Tony explains on commentary that the Japanese side of the bracket, they will face each other, and then the finalists will face the American winner. So that makes more sense. Last week, I didn't really understand what they were going to do. So, yeah, so that means they're just going to show pre-recorded matches filmed in Japan, and then they're just going to send one person over to face the American winner. So, hey, there you go. Tony sits down with Jungle Boy because it's time for some more interviews. And Jungle Boy, he sounds more like a jungle man because he's using grown-up words talking about Dax and FTR. So this was a good showing by Jungle Boy. He seemed legitimate, and he seemed serious in his white t-shirt. So awesome. Next week, Sting will cut a promo on Taz and Team Taz. Serena Deeb will go against Rio. The Bucks will take on Santana and Ortiz. But next, it's the main event. It's Kenny Omega and Kinta tagging together to take on Moxley and Archer in a Falls Count Anywhere tag team main event match. When's it going to happen? It's going to happen right now. It is Kinta with the Kinta has the IWGP US briefcase, because remember, he's going to be taking on Moxley, and Omega, who is the AEW world champion. And tonight they're taking on Moxley, who is the IWGP United States champion, with Lance Archer. So yeah, AEW, I am assuming they just assume that the AEW fan base, or, the general fan base, pretty much already know this stuff and they're familiar with Japan. And if you're not, well, this kind of stuff, I guess, kind of forces you to be familiar with it, because they're just like, well, here's this is going to happen. Oh yeah, by the way, here's Kinta. Oh yeah, here's the IWGP championship. Oh, and we're going to have the Japanese female wrestlers on this side of the tournament. Hope you get used to them. Hope you look them up if you don't know. So that's one way of, I suppose, getting your talent over in that instance. Don Callis is on commentary, so big plus for that. This is a Anywhere Falls match. Now, a lot of stuff happened in this match. This match was chaotic. Kinta attacks Moxley with a briefcase right as like the bell. It is just wrong, and we're already into the chaoticness of this thing. He takes a shot, Kinta does, with that briefcase on Lance, but he is not fazed. Lance shows his unstoppable power here. Moxley and Lance, they're working well together here early in this match, but Omega, he moonsaults with a trash can in his hand, flattening Moxley with that trash can, and then Kinta drop kicks that smashed can into Moxley's face, which can't do any favors for your face region. Lance Archer brings in a red ladder because it matches his gear, I suppose. But Omega is dropped on that ladder via Lance Archer. The fight spills into the crowd. Omega is tossed into a trash can in the crowd, a different trash can, not made of solid steel, but more plastic like. Kinta hits the GTS on Peter Avalon, who is in the crowd because, hey, just for funsies, why not? Kenny, he is slammed into Peter Avalon's heart-shaped bed. Heart-shaped beds are always a strange thing to me. I know that Shawn Michaels had one back in the day in WWE, in 1995 or so. It's one of those things that looks cool, but practically, probably not the best bed to be on. You would roll to one side and then like your head would fall into the little crack thing. I don't know. It's more for looks, more for show, and perhaps just better suited for professional wrestling. Although when that bed fell apart, it looked so uncomfortable. It does not look like something that would be soft in any way. It looked like a board with a sheet on it. But no, it was Kenny Omega. He was all over it, and it looked painful. Then we see Moxley and Kinta fight in the kitchen like it's SmackDown 1 on the PlayStation 1. That area looked very much like it. We even had the stainless steel tables that Kinta hits the DDT on Moxley. And Lance comes in there with a box of literal potatoes. So these wrestlers are actually throwing potatoes at each other, which was just hilarious. In the middle of this match, though, for some odd reason, we get a recap of the match while it's still happening. Like literally, they were showing highlights from earlier in the match as if this match had been going on forever and ever. But tops, it was 20 minutes? My goodness, this is crazy. Moxley brings out the kendo stick on, he brings out the kendo stick and a few shots in. We get a V trigger from Omega out of nowhere. Moxley tumbles to the outside, but hey, it's a falls count anywhere, so why not? Second V trigger here on the outside. Lance goes for the power bomb on the commentary table, but no, it is stopped. Kinta, he flies off the stage, the double foot stomp on Moxley, who's laid out on the timekeeper's table, and Lance choke slams Omega in the ring. Lance moonsaults off the center of the top rope for 2, and the Good Brothers, they come down, they interfere here, and Lance, he's gonna hit the blackout, but they stop that. Carl Anderson hits his cutter. Jake the Snake comes in for a short arm clothesline because why not? Kenny goes for a knee to Jake, and Moxley comes in with a barbed wire baseball bat. You got to stop all that. GTS on Moxley, double team on Lance, a V trigger on Lance Archer, and help from the Good Brothers to set up the one winged angel because Kenny Omega could not do it on his own. They all help him. They put him together. They lift him up, and Kenny Omega, the AEW World Heavyweight Champion, hits the one winged angel right on Lance Archer, and that's it. Kenny Omega comes away with the win. This match was absolutely chaotic. It was absolutely crazy. So I feel like this was a pretty entertaining episode of Dynamite here. This main event, man, it was just all over the place. It was crazy. This is kind of what you should expect from AEW. Lots of craziness, lots of bodies flying around everywhere. And that's what we saw here. So thank you guys so much for watching. Super Serpents, I seen you are out to work. Be safe out there. I know there is some ice afoot throughout these lands. I've been seeing. Got to watch out. It's still winter over here, so must be safe with that. I am going to be on Twitch pretty soon, so check that out. I have a channel which is twitch.tv/donut_space. So check that out. I'm going to be playing some old DOS games up on there. If you want to check that out, that's where I will be. But until then, I will catch you guys next time.